My name is Eleanor Blake, an architect known for my relentless drive and ambition. When I was given the project to design a high-rise building for a prominent developer in our city, I felt a surge of excitement. The building was to be a marvel of modern engineering, but as I delved into the blueprints and historical records, a peculiar detail caught my attention. There was no 13th floor listed. The developers, it seemed, had opted for a superstitious omission, an old tradition to avoid the number 13 due to its association with bad luck. On the first day of construction, the workers unearthed something unusual. Amid the debris, they found a hidden door behind a false wall on what should have been the 13th floor. Intrigued, I decided to investigate. As I stepped through the door, I felt a chill sweep over me. The room beyond was eerily pristine, as if frozen in time. Dust-covered furniture, old newspapers, and photographs from decades past were all intact. There was an unsettling aura about the place that made my skin crawl, but I brushed off the discomfort as a byproduct of the building's history. As work continued, strange occurrences began to plague the construction site. Workers reported hearing disembodied whispers and feeling sudden, inexplicable cold drafts. Tools went missing, only to reappear in odd places. Despite the growing unease among the crew, I pressed on, driven by curiosity and the need to meet my project deadlines. One night, I stayed late to review the building's layout and design, and the silence was almost oppressive. Suddenly, the temperature in my office plummeted, and the lights flickered. Shadows moved across the walls, distorting and shifting in ways that defied logic. I could feel a presence in the room, watching me. I dismissed it as exhaustion and nerves, but the fear I felt was real and palpable. I knew I had to uncover the mystery behind the 13th floor, if for no other reason than to quell my rising anxiety. The next morning, I decided to dig deeper into the building's history. I visited the city archives and discovered that the building's original owner had vanished under mysterious circumstances many years ago. There were rumors of a series of inexplicable events surrounding the 13th floor, but no concrete details. The more I researched, the more I uncovered a pattern of disappearances and accidents tied to the building. One evening, as I explored the abandoned floor further, I found a hidden compartment behind a false panel. Inside was a collection of old journals and photographs documenting the lives of the people who had lived and worked there. The entries spoke of strange occurrences, hallucinations, and a growing sense of dread. It became clear that something malevolent had taken hold of the space. The supernatural activity escalated rapidly. One night, I was alone on the 13th floor when I heard a series of ghostly footsteps echoing through the empty corridors. The shadows seemed to coalesce into forms, distorted faces, and clawing hands that reached out from the darkness. I could hear whispers in languages I didn't understand, and a cold, oppressive force seemed to press against my chest. My phone died inexplicably, and I was left in darkness, save for the eerie glow of a flickering flashlight. Panic set in as the temperature dropped further, and I felt an unseen presence closing in on me. I ran, my footsteps echoing through the deserted floor, but every time I turned a corner, I was met with more darkness and shadows that seemed to mock my terror. The haunting was relentless, a constant reminder that I was intruding on something beyond my comprehension. The fear that gripped me was unlike anything I had ever experienced. The 13th floor had become a personal nightmare. Each visit brought new terrors, doors slamming shut on their own, whispers growing into anguished cries, and fleeting glimpses of ghostly figures that vanished before I could fully comprehend them. The very air seemed to thicken with dread, making each breath a struggle. The weight of the darkness was suffocating, and every creak of the building seemed to carry a threat. Sleep eluded me, as nightmares of shadowy figures and anguished souls tormented me every night. My once keen determination began to waver as the building's dark presence seeped into my reality, blending my waking fears with my dreams. I realized that the 13th floor was not just a place of horror, it was feeding on my fear, growing stronger with every terror it evoked. I sought help from Dr. Leonard Hale, a historian with a specialization in paranormal phenomena. He agreed to assist me, and together, we conducted a thorough investigation of the 13th floor. Dr. Hale's expertise revealed that the floor was built over an old cemetery, and the spirits of those buried there had been disturbed by the construction. Dr. Hale performed a ritual to communicate with the spirits, and through this we learned of a tragic event that had occurred on the 13th floor. The building had been used as a site for illicit experiments in the past, leading to the suffering and deaths of many individuals. The spirits were trapped, their anguish fueling the malevolent energy that plagued the floor. The presence of the spirits became increasingly aggressive. The 13th floor, now a battleground of light and shadow, seemed to be fighting back against the ritual that Dr. Hale and I had undertaken. As we performed the rites, the spirits manifested with renewed fury. Their cries became deafening, and the once familiar space morphed into a twisted maze of dark corridors and oppressive cold. The shadows seemed to pulse with life, reaching out with tendrils of darkness that threatened to envelop us. The fear was not just psychological but physical, as the very environment seemed to react to our efforts to dispel the malevolence. Each step felt like walking through a tangible veil of terror, and the 13th floor had become a living embodiment of dread, pushing us to our limits. In a desperate bid to escape the clutches of the 13th floor, Dr. Hale and I devised a plan to complete the ritual and banish the spirits for good. We worked tirelessly, knowing that our chances of survival depended on the success of our endeavor. The final phase of the ritual required us to confront the most powerful spirit, the source of the floor's dark energy. As we chanted the incantations, the 13th floor seemed to resist violently, with objects flying through the air and an overwhelming force trying to pull us into the shadows. My heart raced, and I could barely keep my focus amid the chaos. In a moment of pure determination, we finished the final chant, and a blinding light erupted, dispelling the darkness. The oppressive atmosphere lifted, and the shadows receded. We stumbled out of the 13th floor, gasping for air, the weight of fear lifting as we closed the door behind us. The building was silent, and the sense of menace was gone, but the experience had left us deeply scarred. The 13th floor was sealed off and marked as a historical site of significance. The haunting ceased, and the construction resumed without further incidents. However, the experience left me deeply shaken. The knowledge of the suffering that had occurred there and the malevolent presence I had faced haunted me for years. I took a hiatus from architectural projects, focusing on research and writing. The 13th floor became a cautionary tale in my lectures about respecting the past and the unseen forces that may linger. I found solace in sharing my story and using it as a lesson for others. In the years that followed, I continued my work in architecture, but with a newfound respect for the boundaries between the known and the unknown. The 13th floor remained a haunting memory, but it also became a symbol of my resilience and the importance of confronting fear. I carried the lessons learned from that experience into every project, ensuring that respect for history and the supernatural was always a part of my work. The story of the 13th floor became a legend among those who knew of its dark past. It served as a reminder of the dangers of disturbing places with a troubled history. I used my experience to advocate for careful consideration of historical sites and the importance of addressing any paranormal concerns with respect and caution. Looking back, the experience with the 13th floor had a profound impact on my life. It taught me about the power of fear and the strength required to confront it. The building stood as a testament to the resilience of those who faced its dark legacy, and I emerged from the ordeal with a deeper appreciation for the mysteries of the world and the importance of facing them with courage and respect. The 13th floor remained a dark chapter in my life, but it also served as a reminder of the strength found in overcoming the darkest of fears. If you want to see more horror stories, please like the video, share your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel. Stay with us, thank you, and see you in the next videos.